everybody. For fans of the obscure and unusual, Muscle Car Campy here with a 1971 Hurst SSJ. This was a car put out by Hurst from 1970 to 1972. It's got a lot of unusual features. We're going to tell you all about it. Before we get going, don't forget, hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video goes live. So legend has it that the late great Jim Wangers was driving a 1970 Grand Prix SJ that he had Royal Pontiac put some Tiger Gold markings on. He showed the car to George Hurst of Hurst Performance and a light bulb went off. George said, "I want that car." He bought the car from Jim and his crew developed this entire SSJ package. You had frost gold coming down here, up the top, down the trunk, and for 1971 it got even better. The reason we say things got better for 71 is the Grand Prix got a mild facelift. Single headlights on either side replaced the two headlights on either side from 69 and 70. A new grille was installed, really gave it a classy look. The single headlights on either side were faired into the hood. You had this beautiful markings, the frost gold paint outlined in white stripes. It really just set the car off. One of our favorite features, of course, on the SSJ is the sunroof that was installed by Hurst. Rumor has it could have been a Mercedes piece. We don't know. Another cool option that this car got was the Hurst Performance computer, which had sensors on the right front wheel that if you programmed it in, you could tell what your quarter-mile time was, your speed, etc. Unfortunately, while the wiring is there and the magnets are still there, the Hurst computer is long gone. The owner was offered one. He said, guy said, "I know somebody who's got one, but he wants $5,000 for it. So I think for the near future, this car is going to remain without one." To get your SSJ in 1971, you could not order the SJ package for the Grand Prix. All the Hurst Grand Prix models in 71 started off as J models. The reason being that the striping that Hurst put on the car clashed with what was offered from the factory on the SJ. So again, the whole back of the car was redesigned, this beautiful kick-up, little boat tail design. Hurst installed this padded Landau top, which I think is a nice touch. Remember, 1971, this was a very, very unusual feature. Then they added more striping on the side, up the top, and again, the sunroof that we discussed. Overall, it was a really classy package. What makes this car really stand out is that most of the 157 Grand Prix SSJs were white with the frost gold. Mike's car is believed to be approximately one of 15 or one of 20 in that neighborhood with the black paint with the frost gold. You know, no one's ever confused Muscle Car Campy with Linda Vaughn, but I just had to stick my head out of the sunroof, kind of help recreate that photo. I don't think I can really pull it off though, but this is a really nice size sunroof. I have to give it that.
Tonight's feature car is owned by Mike Kelso, the president of the Florida chapter of the Pontiac Oakland Club International. Back when Mike's car was built, emission controls were really starting to strangle engines, and you could see this 455 has all kinds of hoses and tubing that wasn't there just 5 years earlier. The 400 and 455 were very similar engines, though of course the 455 had a slightly larger bore and a longer stroke. The carburetor intake, ignition, and exhaust manifolds were the same on both engines, as were the cam specs. Only two engines were available in a 1971 SSJ. Standard was the Grand Prix 400 with 300 gross horsepower. Optional was this 455 with 325 horsepower, and was also the first year GM rated its engines in net horsepower as well. This one was rated at 260 net horsepower. Gross torque was 455 pound-feet. Net was 380. 1971 was also the year that GM lowered its compression ratios. The 400-inch engine was standard, and the 455 was an option, but both contained 8.2 to 1 compression. Unfortunately, no 455 HO was available in the Grand Prix. It would have been a great addition to the Hurst SSJ.
Not bad for an old boat.
Not bad at all. I think you're gonna need some new tires soon.
Yeah, I just bought these. I think I better go back.
Well, you got to bring them. You got to break them in a little bit.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
probably a little greasy.
Yeah.
Now, have you been after this car for a long while? You just got this car recently.
1st of March, yeah. No, it was one of those things. Larry Morris, who's one of the members of the Pontiac Club, they called and told our secretary that he wanted to sell this one and his other 4-speed Grand Prix. And I went over and talked to him, and the more we talked, the more I fell in love with the car, and now here we go. I bought both of them.
Which one do you like better?
I have not driven the 4-speed car much yet, so I can't answer that. I kind of tend to think, looks-wise, I like this one, but you can't beat a 4-speed.
Oh, I agree.
All right.
And is the other one's a 400, correct?
Yeah, that's the only way they came with 4-speed. And the other one, they made 52 of them with 4-speed in 71. And then supposedly, since it's a factory air car also, you know, how many did they make?
Yeah. Now this one, as we know, is one of 157.
Correct.
It's one of about 10% of those were black, supposedly.
Everybody that I've talked to, that's what they're telling me.
That makes it a very unusual combination. I mean, the white and gold is striking, but I would say so is the black and gold. I mean, really nice. And what's really nice about this car too, even with the sunroof open and the windows open, it's still very quiet in here. We would love to see one of these with a 4-speed, but there are no documented 4-speed SSJs for 71. Later in the year, the Turbo 400 became the standard transmission in the Grand Prix, but there's no record of any 4-speed SSJs being built before that happened. So right now, all the SSJs that we know of have been automatic transmissions.
Correct. No, it's just, you know, I had money in an investment, and I figured what we're all making from investments now, I can make more money on these if I choose to. In the meantime, I can have fun with them.
That's absolutely correct.
They're built to be driven.
I have to ask you one question. What area code does the front end at? Because I don't think I see the end of it out there. It's pretty way out there.
I was parked next to a GTO the other day, and the front end is probably 3 inches longer than a GTO hood.
Jeez. It was the longest hood in the industry, wasn't it? Wasn't that or the longest nose, I should say?
Could be. I honestly don't know.
I mean, just wow. It just goes out there forever.
Oh, forever and ever. And they were fun. I had a 69 back in the day, and I loved driving that car. Now I know the 69 I had was just a standard 400. I think they were rated at 350 horse, and it would easily do 120. So God only knows what these will do.
I love the way the headlights are fared into the hood of the car itself. It's not just like on most modern cars, even cars from the 70s. The fairings go right back into the hood. You can really see how sculpted the whole front end of this car is.
Yeah, they did a nice design job.
Mike, thank you very much. We really appreciate you being on Muscle Car Campy again. Just keep on buying those cars. We'd love to feature them all, you know.
Well, once I get the green 4-speed car, that's a muscle car.
All right, everybody. That's all for now. Muscle Car Campy saying see you later. Remember, hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video goes live. You won't want to miss any of our great trips to the past.